What is up, guys, and welcome back to the vlog. In today's episode, we're finally tearing into the VR-4. As you guys saw, we did a quick little wash on it, and the paint is still messed up on this car. But we have a lot of cool parts I want to show you we're installing today. So we have a brand new set of Megan Racing coilovers. These are pretty cool. These are 14-way dampening adjustable. Pretty much a basic set of coilovers for the car, but we did have these on the last VR-4 and they performed pretty well. Even though we really didn't get to enjoy it that much, they were a nice, solid, and pretty straightforward install process. So I'm excited we got a set of those for the car. The next thing we're going to be installing today is a brand new set of Stop Tech rotors and pads. So these are the just slotted set of rotors and a set of street pads. So this is good for pretty much any street car, maybe a little bit of light track use, which is what we plan on doing with this car, nothing too crazy. So the first thing we're going to do is basically disassemble all the suspension and all the brake components, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna repaint the brake calipers as well. Now, a bunch of you guys might have seen one of our videos we made a long time ago, which was painting brake calipers the easy way. But in this video, I'm gonna show you the correct way to do it. If you do have the time and the materials, you can make them come out really, really good. So, it's pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna start unbolting both the shock Without further ado, I'm just gonna start tearing into this thing, removing the brake calipers, removing the rotors, removing this old crusty OEM shock, and we'll bring you guys along for the ride. All right, so for this job, you're just gonna need a couple simple tools. I like using these electric impacts that makes your life a lot easier. So we have a 17mm deep socket here with a little extension, and we also have a 12mm on just this smaller Ryobi to basically handle some of the light stuff. We have a couple adjustable ratcheting wrenches here and just a hammer in case some of the bolts don't want to come out. So let's go ahead and we'll start with the brakes and then move on to the rear shock. So this car does have, looks like almost brand new pads, but these rotors are really old. So I don't really know why people do this. You might as well spend the extra maybe 120, 140 bucks and do the rotors as well. Because when you put new pads into a rotor that's already worn, you're just gonna wear out the pads a lot faster. So if you're gonna do a brake job, just do both the rotors and the pads and save yourself a lot of money and time. They didn't install this properly either. Now let's move on to the other side. It's kind of a cool little system, actually. You can replace the pads without having to take the rotor off, which is probably what these people did. You just pull these sliders out. It's actually similar to how Brembos are done. Just pull that out. Pull this pin out, and then the pads will just fall out. But another thing that they didn't do is they didn't replace any of this hardware or apply any of the right lubricant to these. So whoever installed these was, I guess, pretty basic. They did put the grease on the back, which is good so it doesn't squeal, but they didn't do any of the other basics that you should do. Okay, let's move on to the front brakes now. Jeez. That was a pain. So in case you guys don't know, to remove pretty much any brake caliper, there's two brackets that hold the caliper bracket to the car, and then there's usually two bolts that hold the caliper to the caliper bracket. So you can actually, if you're gonna be removing it, just remove the whole bracket and then this should come off as one piece. We are gonna have to remove the other two bolts anyways when we remove the calipers completely and bring them over to the sandblast cabinet. Babies are crusty, so you guys have heard probably multiple times whenever we drive this car, we keep saying how bad the brakes are, and this is why. So let me pull these apart. Oh my God. Oh, they've completely fallen apart. So, the pads are like disintegrating. Really crappy. But the caliper looks to be in okay shape, so we'll set that down. Okay. Yeah, that's ready for replacement, that's for sure. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with the other side in the front, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the suspension now. Like, this is a big brake, dude. So these are made by Sumitomo, which is one of the hugest manufacturers in Japan. Actually, they make so many different things from raw materials like metal to, I guess, brake calipers. All right, so before we move on to the suspension, we're gonna remove these calipers completely. I think I might have mentioned we're gonna be putting them in the sandblast cabinet, refinishing them, making them look like brand new. So to do that, these are totally loose now. There's nothing attached but the brake line here. So I'm going to remove this line here, and I have just like a spare Monster can. A little bit of fluid should leak out of there, but not too much. And I will put the hose in there and just kind of let that residual stuff just kind of drain in there. Okay. Oh, not really too much. There we go. Let's go to the back. There we go. These are ready for a thorough cleaning. You guys can see that. But we'll make the letters nice and brushed, so these will look brand new. All right, get a cool shot of those. The two nuts on the top are out. Now this should just slide off of here. The bolt is already removed from this, so I'm gonna go grab a crowbar and this should just pop right out. All right, easy enough. All right, 3 out of the 4 struts are out. Now, unfortunately, just kidding. So unfortunately, this strut, I cannot seem to get off of this little pin here. So on this side, for example, although it is a little bit rusty, it seemed to just slide right off there, but this side is not. So I've sprayed this down with some PB penetrant, but I do have to take off for the day. So we're gonna be following up on this tomorrow morning, and we're gonna be continuing the work on the VR-4, getting the brakes done, getting the new coilovers in. So that's where it's gonna end off for today, and we will start in tomorrow's video right about now.